Day one of World's Strongest Man 2025 is over, and instead of going through all of the results, I thought I'd come on here and give my opinions on the good, the bad, and the ugly. The reason I'm not going to go through the results is because if you are a Strongman fan and if you're watching this, the chances are you already know the results, and there's about 17 other channels that have already done a results breakdown. So for the good category, I have got 4 athletes that I want to talk about mainly, and I'm just going to go through them all one at a time in any random order because I'm doing this off the top of my head because my iPad has no charge. So firstly, I want to talk about Eddie Williams. Now, not many people had Eddie getting out of his group, and don't get me wrong, there's still potential that he doesn't, but he's put himself in a very strong position to get out of the group with the events that are remaining. On the loading race, he wasn't too far behind Tom. He took second place on that event. I think he was around 44 seconds, if my memory serves me right. And then on the 350 deadlift for reps, he managed 7 reps, which again, tied with Tom Stoltman and the likes of Mitch Hooper and a lot of other people as well. The overhead medley wasn't the best for him, but it's not his best event. But it's good to see that constant improvements are happening in his overall performance, and I do hope he makes it out of the groups because I think everybody likes Eddie Williams as a character, and I think he deserves his place in the final. Of course, if he doesn't make it out of the groups, whoever is in second place does deserve their place in the final, but it would be nice to see Eddie Williams make it. The second person that I want to talk about is Pavlo Cordiaca. Now, watching him at Europe's Strongest Man, I wasn't all too impressed, and a lot of people were saying that the World's Strongest Man Heats has good events for him, and I agree the events are very good for Pavlo. I think the events in the Heats are much better than they are in the final, but I didn't expect him to be as good as he's being because, like I say, I think his Europe's Strongest Man performance was slightly underwhelming. And did he pull 5 reps on the deadlift as well, which is probably a big PB for him, especially out there in the heat. He wears his suit extremely tight, and he was second place on the loading medley. He had a good overhead medley. Did he win the overhead in his group? I feel like he did. And then, yes, of course, like I said, the deadlift, he put up a very good number on that. I'm pretty sure he got. Andrew Flynn won the deadlift in that group, so maybe Pavlo got 4, but I feel like Luke got 2. So Evan Singleton's injured in that group. Luke got 2, Nick Guardione got 4, maybe Pavlo got 4 as well, and Andrew Flynn got 6, I believe. If I'm remembering the groups right, that's what happened. Then the next person I want to talk about, and don't worry, I am saving the best till last, but the next person I want to talk about is Reino Nel. Now, again, similar to Pavlo, there was a lot of talk about him coming in and having very good events, and I think a lot of people, including myself, weren't really sure what we were going to get. We know that he's done it in the Strongman Champions League and he won the Siberian Power Show last year, but we haven't seen him against this caliber of athletes, and making that step up sometimes can be difficult for people, especially for new athletes, the way that the format is at World's Strongest Man. But at this current moment in time, he looks in a very solid position to get out of the group in top spot. He's not put a foot wrong, to be honest. I think he got second place or maybe third place on the overhead medley, won his deadlift. I've not seen the video, but a lot of people have been saying that he probably could have done more than 8 reps as well, which is absolutely insane when you consider that some of the people who are on 7 reps are considered the best deadlifters in the world, and he apparently did a very comfortable 8 reps. His loading medley, he won that in his heat. He's just not put a foot wrong so far, and I see him making the World's Strongest Man final. So the last person that I want to talk about, of course, is Paddy Haynes. He came second on the loading medley behind Mitch Hooper in his group, not far behind Mitch Hooper either. He won the deadlift in his group, which for him was basically as good as it could have gone. Every single other person, all 4 of the people in his group got 7 reps and he got 8, meaning that they all tied and got 2.5 points each, and he got 5 points all to himself. Then the big question on everybody's mind was what's going to happen when it comes to the overhead, and can he make up enough points in the other events to see him through to the final, even if he comes last in the overhead. Lots and lots of people, I'd say 99% of people, had Paddy last in the overhead, but there was one person that had him coming third, and that was me. I said he would come third. If you don't believe me, the video is on my channel. Go over there, subscribe to the channel, check it out if you want to. I've not seen a video of him doing it, but I said that I think with these implements at this weight, if he's nailed the technique, I think his speed and transition would mean that he can pick up some points going through if he can do a fast sort of 4 or 5, which is exactly what he did. I think people were getting a bit hung up on his Europe's Strongest Man appearance where he failed the safe lift, but if you watch that, it wasn't because he didn't have the technique or the ability to do it, it's because of the implement itself. So with these implements being different and slightly more stable when you try to split jerk them or push jerk them, like I said, I'm not exactly sure what technique he used, but I would assume it was one of those. It means that he's going to have that stability and be able to move through the implements faster, which is exactly what he did. So he is sitting on 12 points, half a point behind Mitch Hooper, and I think he's about 5 points. I think he's 5 points ahead of third place. So if he has a decent bag toss, there's potential that even if he doesn't press the stone, he still goes through. I mean, if he doesn't press the stone, he'll get a 0. So maybe, but if he can win the bag toss and Mitch comes second, then I think he's pretty much secured his place in the final, and I really hope he does because I really think that he deserves it. Okay, on to the bad. Now, again, I'm going to be talking about athletes, but it's not in way of their performance down to themselves. It's basically saying that Mateusz Kieliszkowski, for one, hasn't performed to the level that we know he is capable of, and I really thought that he would. After seeing him at Europe's Strongest Man, he put on a really good performance there, and then Siberian Power Show, he won that as well. So I really thought coming into this with these events in the heats, he would do really well. Now, apparently he is sick. He's had a bit of an illness over the past week and he's not been able to get rid of it. So I think that could be playing a part in it. And that's the same with the other two athletes that I'm going to mention. Lucas Hatton, he hasn't done bad. I'm pretty sure he's tied for second place, but I know he's been ill before coming into it. And he's not... His performances have actually been decent. Like, he got 7 reps on the deadlift. I think he came second in the overhead. And he came last on the loading medley. But they've not been bad performances. He's not going to be the fastest guy over the ground. He's just shorter than the other athletes. He's not going to make up that speed. And he has had a bad illness, which has been making him struggle to breathe, carrying sandbags on your chest. If anybody has ever carried a sandbag on their chest, they know how much that takes the air out of your lungs. So for him to even complete that is very good. And he still has a big potential of making the final. The reason that I say it's bad is because he's not in that spot where it's like he is going to make the final. And Lucas was one of the favorites coming into this whole show. Everybody knew that he had to get through the heats events in order to get to his better events, which are in the final, but I really thought that he could put on a bit of a better performance than he has so far. It's not, like I say, it's not to say he's done bad. It's just titled bad because good, the bad and the ugly makes sense. Which leads me on to my third athlete, which is Matt Ragg. Again, I think from what I've heard, he has a bit of an illness as well, which is just a shame because he's a very good athlete and he's not necessarily doing too bad. I think he's very tight in that group, still around the bottom, but it does look difficult for him to make the final now. And again, he was one of the favorites to get to the final. Maybe wasn't one of the favorites for the final, but just to make it to the final, everybody was sort of looking at him as one of the top 10 athletes that are going to make it there. I hope he can have a better performance on the second day, which is starting very soon, but we will see. That takes us on to the ugly part of things, and maybe you can tell what I'm going to talk about with the trend that I have started with. That is Evan Singleton and Luke Richardson. Talk about Evan first. I know he's had a few injuries in the past, and he always comes into these shows, especially World's Strongest Man, with such a desire to win. The same as every athlete does, but it just always seems to be bigger for Evan Singleton. Whether or not that's just because he shows it more and it's more of his persona, I'm not too sure. But he wants this title so badly, and from what I know, he tore his bicep. I don't know if it's a tendon or if it's a muscle belly, but he's had a bicep tear and had to pull out after the first event. And the same thing with poor Luke Richardson, like just getting back into some sort of form. Obviously, he won Europe's Strongest Man. Britain's Strongest Man didn't go to plan, but he podiumed at the Two Giants Lives before Britain's Strongest Man, and it was just unfortunate circumstances for him. But he's had from what I hear, is a muscle belly tear in the bicep, and it's just another setback for him in Sacramento again, where he did it last time. So I wish both of those guys a very speedy recovery, because it's not what we want to see. It's now taken the field of 25 down to 23, and then if those three guys are ill and they're not performing at their best, it's sort of already down to 20 guys. I know it's not exactly because they are still competing, but it just sort of, it dilutes it a bit, makes it harder for people to claw back points in the group. But it is what it is. Injuries are part of the sport. They are going to happen, and it's just something that the athletes have to deal with themselves, unfortunately. But anyway, that is my good, bad, and ugly for the first day of World's Strongest Man. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like on it, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below, letting me know what you think, and I look forward to day 2 starting very soon.